What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I have an exciting one today for you. It's gonna be a little different. This is just gonna be a little vlog slash fly fishing video. Now, I don't really know much about fly fishing, but that's one of the reasons that we're gonna do this video today, because I'm here at Tailwaters Fly Shop in Dallas. I'm over here with all the hippies, all the liberals in Dallas, and we're at Tailwaters, and this is one of my favorite stores in all of Texas. This place is so badass. I want to show it to you. I want to get Sean to talk to us about fly fishing, and I may even try to pick me up a little beginner bass fly fishing setup today. So guys, stay tuned. We're going to learn about fly fishing a little bit. Should be a good time. So let me show you one of the coolest parts of Tailwaters here. Apparently, fly fishermen and bow hunters like to drink, because there's a legit full bar here at the fly shop.
Like this. 10%
So the number of flies they have in here is ridiculous. They have everything from little bitty, little like salmon egg looking flies to like giant saltwater flies. And I basically want to buy all the flies. Like, I could spend $1,000 just on flies in this place. Like, look at these cool little things. See if it'll focus. Like, look at all these flies. It is insane how many flies they have here. Got grasshoppers, spiders, got all sorts of stuff. Then you got these giant flies. Like, look at this thing. I guess it's a bait fish. Look how big this thing is. That is awesome. I truly feel like bow hunters and fly fishermen are cut from the same cloth. Like, because I could see myself completely getting obsessed with fly fishing. All right, everybody, what is going on? We are here at Tailwaters, and Sean is going to kind of go over with us what you need to bass fish here in Texas with a fly rod. I'll be honest, I know nothing about fly fishing. I have done a little fly fishing in the past for some different species, but it's mostly like a vacation trip for me.
Right.
I don't really fly fish here in Texas, and so I just want to pick your brain a little bit.
Yeah,
let you show me what rod, you know, is good for bass fishing. I think I have a 5-weight rod, and I don't know if that's quite stout enough for bass fishing.
No, it'll work if that's what you have. By all means, roll with it. But it's not optimal. Really, I like to use an 8-weight. And so rods come in various weights. 8 kind of on the heavy side, so it's a great bass rod for redfish. You know, if you go down to Mexico, it's a great bowfish rod, good for stripers up on Texoma. So that's what I like to use. With that 8-weight, you can throw a pretty big size fly. You got enough backbone so if the fish goes into heavy structure, you can pull them out. If you want something a little more versatile, so if you're going to go trout fishing on vacation, you know, or something you can go chase sand bass with, crappie fish, bluegill, a 6-weight is a pretty good kind of in-betweener rod. So 6s and 8s kind of just depends on what you want to pursue. Bigger fish, lean towards the 8. A little more versatile, smaller stuff, lean towards the 6.
Okay, and we were talking earlier, for this kind of stuff here in Texas, spend your money on the rod and not the reel.
Right, so the rod is the most important, so you want to get a good quality rod, preferably something that's 4-piece and easy to cast. And so there's a lot of good rods out there. You don't have to go out and spend $1,000 to get a rod. You know, Temple Fork here in Dallas, they make some great rods, you know, like the one I'm about to show you. This is their mangrove model. Cool thing about this one, this is a 9-foot 8-weight, and usually 9 foot's kind of what we're leaning towards for a lot of our fly rods. This one is a 4-piece, so it's easy to break down and travel with. But the cool thing about this one is the action. It's designed for making repetitive 40 to 60 foot casts, and so it's a pretty forgiving rod. I use a lot of this for my clients when I guide. This is like my boat rod. So can't beat the warranty, man. Something happens. Usually it's user error, car doors, and stepping on rods breaks a lot more stuff than fish do.
Yeah.
You can get it replaced like in a day. But so this is the 8-weight, so it's easy to cast, super forgiving rod. So this is what I like to roll with. And like this guy, $279.
Oh yeah.
Price point. So yeah, not a bad rod at all. And so like we were saying, like the rod's super important. Second most important thing is actually going to be the line, and this is where you got to do a little bit of homework, but not much. And what you're looking for is a line that does two things. One, it's going to hold it to the heat. I'm sure you probably stepped outside today. It's September and it's 100 degrees outside.
It's hot today.
So what you're going to need is a fly line that holds up to the heat. So tropic fly lines. So those are designed to hold up to the heat. Kind of the magic number is like 72 degrees, and that's water temperatures. So we can fish these type of lines almost year round, especially in North Texas. Yeah, I know it's gonna get down to the 50s in January and February, but you can still fish these, especially if you're on front boat.
Dude, I've never once in my entire life heard of temperature playing
It does,
into fly line.
and what it has to do with is, so these are plastic. So you're probably well aware, plastic gets stiff and brittle when it's cold and gets real bendy when it's hot. And so these lines are built to hold up to the heat. So they're made that they actually maintain their stiffness. That way they're easier to cast and they can cast further.
I gotcha.
So you don't want to take these to Alaska. They're going to have a lot of memory to them and look like a slinky. Vice versa, if you get that line that's soft and supple made for cold weather and you take it out here to Texas in summertime and try to cast it, it's going to act like a piece of cooked spaghetti. It's going to get tangled and fouled. It's not going to shoot very well. It actually feels gummy. And it doesn't
that may
shoot
be
very
one
well.
of my problems.
So
because
yeah,
I've never looked in the line like that.
So get you a fly line that's going to hold up to the heat. The cool thing is that the fly line companies are starting to get on board. They've been doing it for a while, making bass specific fly lines.
Oh, nice.
And we say it's bass specific. They're made for casting big flies. And so they've got short rear tapers, short front tapers, and they're made so they have really good turnover. So when you're throwing a big heavy hair bug, the fly's going to turn over. You have a nice presentation. Scientific Angler makes one called the Bass Bug. This is what I fish with. I keep it on my boat rods, and so it's made for warm weather. It's got that head that's easy to cast, easy to turn over. Rio makes this one called Smallmouth. Even though it says smallmouth, this is actually a good bass line. And the cool thing about this one is that where this one's like a tropic line, this one will actually work in a little bit wider conditions. So it's more, in the 60s up to like the 80s and 90s. It's not really good when it's super hot, but if you're wanting something that's a little bit more versatile, that you can fish almost year round in Texas, especially North Texas, the smallmouth line's great for that. And then another one that's starting to really come around is the shooting heads. So shooting heads have been around for a long time. Basically, a shooting head is a really heavy, compact fly line that you can like do one back cast and then do your front cast, and it throws like the entire fly line.
Instead of having to make multiple.
Exactly. So bass fishing, it's all how many casts can you make?
Yeah.
So a shooting head type line is actually like the good thing to have.
Oh yeah.
So you can sit there and just like hit the bank, just boom, boom, without having to do a lot of casting. And so they've got these lines that are made like that, and now they're kind of taking that same tropic technology and putting it in these. So this one's called Tropical Titan. This one was really designed for fishing in the jungles.
Oh, nice.
So going down to Brazil for peacock bass, going down to Bolivia for Dorado, you want a line that can hold to the heat and throw big heavy flies. That's what this one is.
Yeah,
so
that's
kind
awesome.
of a cool deal. So that kind of covers your fly line. And then, the reel, let's be honest, it's window dressing on a bass reel or a bass rod, that it's just there to kind of hold fly line. You don't fight the fish with the reel. So you can pretty much put anything on there. So this is the Reddington Behemoth. We sell a lot of these. This is an inexpensive reel. Inexpensive meaning it's $109, which is on the fly reel. That's
You basically got $400 in a decent bass setup.
Yeah, and it's not something you're going to outgrow like next week, or when you go fishing and try your buddy's rod and you go, I got a piece of garbage that now goes in the closet, never see the light of day because now you're out spending money again.
Yeah.
To get something better. This is something that you can stick with. You're not going to outgrow. You might replace components here and there down the line, but there's no reason why you can't fish this one for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
And so this is the reel. So the cool thing about this one, it's got a great price point. It's a large arbor. It has a really good drag system on it. So $109. I will say that if you have an inkling to kind of go saltwater fishing. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but down the road, you're like, man, I really want to go down and do some bone fishing.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to go ahead and get you a little bit better reel now.
That way you're not having to replace it after you go saltwater fishing.
Gotcha, exactly. So that way, down the road, when you do get that trip, you're not like, oh, I got to go buy a new reel.
Yeah, salt wrecks everything, man.
Just go and start. So I tell people with 8-weight, just go and start there.
Yeah.
Get you a good saltwater reel. But if you're the guy like, man, strictly going to bass fish, that's all I'm going to do. Yeah, this one's perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then the other part of the puzzle is leaders. So I know you got your 5-weight, you probably bought it for trout.
Mm-hmm.
Leave your trout leaders at home. They're made for casting really small flies. It's real delicate presentation.
Yeah.
Man, with bass fishing, throwing big heavy stuff. Bass aren't real leader shy, is like we call it. So what I like to use a short, heavy leader. So these are called Big Nasty, made by Rio, and these are actually 6-foot leaders in 12 and 20 pound tests. So 12 pound is kind of like my stock tank, small water, not a lot of structure. That's what I like to use. I'm going someplace like Fork, then I'm using 20.
Yeah, 20 pound.
Exactly. That way, that if that fish is around lily pad and stumps, I got enough power to turn that fish and keep from losing them.
So one thing I've always been confused about, not being a fly fisherman, is you got your leader and you got tippet.
Right.
So are you attaching your fly directly to the leader? Or are you tying tippet to it?
Both.
Both?
Both. So this is when I teach my fly fishing classes, this is like one of the more confusing things. What's leader, what's tippet? Tippet is simply the tip of a leader. That's all it is.
Basically, it's just adding a link to your
Correct.
leader, right?
So a brand new leader as is has a tippet section. So if you can imagine the last 2 feet where the fly attaches is a level piece of line.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your tippet section, and then it gradually starts to get wider and wider towards the back of the leader. So as you change flies, that tippet section gets shorter and shorter and shorter. So you add tippet material, which is the little spools of line. You add tippet back onto the tip of your leader, or the tippet section.
I got you.
So fly fishermen,
So basically, the first couple of times you tie a bait on,
you don't have to do anything.
You don't have to do a tippet.
No.
But then once you start changing baits and shortening up your leader, you're going to add that tippet just to get your link.
You got it. Perfect. That's exactly what you're doing.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I know, see? So the other cool thing is, like, if you want to, you can actually go and right out of the package, you can go and take this thing out to 8, 9, 10 feet if you want to by adding tippet. Just make sure you're stepping it down. So if you're going to lengthen this thing out from 6 feet to say 9 feet, put something smaller than 20 pound on there.
Yeah.
So you still got that taper.
I got
But
you.
yeah,
That way your fly lays out like it's supposed to.
Perfect. Yeah, that's
I
it.
got you. All right, now what kind of flies are we using for these bass?
All right, so these are a couple of my favorites, and we'll start off with top water because everybody loves it. They're top water. I'm a big fan of deer hair, especially deer hair that dives. And so this is a diving bait fish. This one's made that as you strip it, it's gonna kind of pop, dive, and float back up.
Oh, cool.
This is
Almost
what
like a little crankbait.
Very similar. I prefer these. Now, one thing I like about them is here, like,
Oh,
squeeze
that's
it.
cool, man.
So it's squishy.
See if you can see that. Look at that bait. That thing's awesome.
So it's squishy, so what happens is fish have a tendency to come up, grab onto this, and hold it. They don't throw it out automatically. So it gives you a little bit extra time to go ahead and strip the line and set your hook. So I prefer fishing that. The only problem with this is that it has a tendency to kind of get waterlogged and start to sink. So you fish it for a while, it's going to kind of start getting heavy. So you can waterproof it by putting floating on here. Same stuff you put on dry flies, you can put on here and do that. The other thing is that this has a tendency to kind of get lost in the surface, especially when it's real choppy. So that's where I like to use something a little bit harder. And so this is another similar one. This is actually made out of foam. So this is a diving bug. So the cool thing about this one is that because it has this hard foam, that it's going to float like a cork.
Yeah, it's not ever going to get waterlogged.
Right. It's going to have a big pop as well because of that face on there. So this is a cool one to use. I like this one on choppy days, windy days. If it's calm, I like using that one.
I gotcha.
But you know, fish aren't always hitting top water, so now you got to go subsurface. And so two of my favorite. First one is, this is called a meat whistle. So it's actually tied on a jig hook. So it's got a jig, it rides upside down, so it hooks on top, and it's got a cone head.
If I can get it to focus, there it goes.
So there's a cone head on the front, and so that cone head is what gives you your weight. But the cool thing about this one, that cone head and the fact that the hook rides up makes it like super weedless.
Nice.
So this thing,
so you can fish that. You can fish that on the bottom, or you can fish it, you know, middle of the water column.
Correct. So you can fish it, and this with that rabbit strip has a lot of really cool movement. It kind of like pulses. So if you're used to like fishing like wacky worm, this is a good way to go. So this is like our version of a worm. You can fish it like a bait fish. You can fish it like a worm fish, like a crayfish. You can do a lot of things with it. So it's pretty versatile. So olive and black and chartreuse are probably my 3 favorite colors. Another one I like to fish. This is called the bushwhacker.
That's just your bait fish pattern.
Right. It's a simple bait fish, kind of like a deceiver is what you call it in the fly fishing world. So it's a simple bait fish. But the cool thing about this one, it's actually tied on a worm hook.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's just like a EWG.
Exactly.
Like just an EWG worm hook that they have this thing tied on. See if it'll focus. This camera. There it is. See, it's got an EWG hook. It's just a little bait fish pattern. So that's cool, man.
The cool thing about this one's like super weedless. So during the spawn, you can throw this thing up tight to the bank, run it through the grass. It has a tendency not to get fouled. You can almost hold this one on a tree and not get fouled. So I like fishing. So this one, when the fish are like real shallow during the spawn, or they're just being real aggressive, most time I like to fish that meat whistle. But yeah, those 4 flies, those are that's my go-to stuff. So when I do my guide trips, we're fishing one of those 4. That's pretty much all we do. We just change the color and size. Those 4 flies will cover a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's it, guys. Basically, get you 4 flies, get you an 8-weight rod, and you're ready to go fly fishing in Texas. But hey, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for telling us about all this stuff, and thanks for letting us have the full draw film tour here.
Glad to have you guys.
This place is awesome, man.
Thank you.
This is one of my favorite outdoor shops in Texas.
Mine too.
Yeah. But guys, if you're in Dallas, come check out Tailwaters. This place is awesome. They have a bar in the back.
We do.
All that racket you hear back there was them getting beer in the coolers for this film festival tonight.
We got a beer, pool table,
all sorts of good stuff. I see whiskey back there.
Everything. We got it all.
But all right, guys. Yeah, and a fly shop. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. I hope this helped you out some. It helped me out a ton. Apparently, I need to get an 8-weight fly rod if I'm going to start bass fishing. But thanks for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe. We'll see you later.